so we can prepare our claps and our blue collar and
Good
stuff.
morning, everyone. My name is Stephen. This morning I'm going to tell you about a story that I grew up a lot from this, and I hope you can take something away from it and learn from my idiotic mistakes. How many people enjoy the effects of alcohol? We're all, whoever's old enough at least, but at this time I wasn't old enough, and we did it anyway. So I'm going to tell you about taking caution when you're drinking alcohol, the dangers that you may not expect from alcohol, and the consequences I faced based on the actions I made when I was way too drunk. So to start things off, this was the summer of 2011. I was house sitting for some friends, and it was a family friend, and I had some other friends come over, and we couldn't get any bud, so we decided to get alcohol instead, because that's what was available to us 19-year-olds, and we wanted to have fun that evening. So my friend came over, we started drinking, and we were just hanging out, we were having a good time, beers, Monsters and vodka and everything. We were going swimming, we were enjoying the weather and having a good time, like I'm sure many of us have had. And it was about 9 o'clock at night, and my friend decided he wanted to go to Walmart because he ran out of cigarettes. So we should have used caution. We didn't, like planning out how much we would drink or what we would do if we needed anything later and if we had to go get it. And that didn't happen because we weren't thinking clearly. So my friend drove to Walmart, which luckily it wasn't a very long drive, but that still is kind of irrelevant because on the way back, pulling into the gated community, there was a barrier, and one side was the entrance, the other side was the exit. So he's coming in this way, and he was going too fast, and he swerved. He didn't hit the barrier, but he swerved into where the exit is. So we're all like, whoa, that was a really close call. And he just backed out. We went into the entrance and went back into the house to continue our little get-together. So that brings me to the second point, which is being able to recognize the effects of alcohol. So we weren't doing that, and when we continued to drink more, we were just hanging out, having a good time. And my friend who was driving, his name is Zach, later that evening he decided we wanted to go get food, Filiberto's. Who doesn't want Filiberto's when you're just trashed, right? So me and my friend, Zach was driving, I was in the passenger seat, my other friend Brandon was in the back, and he was the smart one. He said, I don't know if we should do this, guys. We're hungry, so who cares? No one's out this late anyway. It was like 1 o'clock, I think. And so he's reluctant, but we convince him anyway because we're all easily impressionable in those mental states. So we all got back into the car and we drove to Filiberto's. This time it was a little longer of a drive, but we got there safely and we ordered our food. We had our food. Everything was great. I had an Arizona burrito. And we pulled back out and we were driving down the street to get back to the house I was watching. And at that point, there was a neighborhood off to the side, and Zach says, I want to have some fun. So he pulls into this neighborhood, and there's like a lot of long curvy roads that almost no one drives down that late. So he decided he had a new car. It was a Mazda 3, and he wanted to test it out how it did on the road, I guess. So he's driving down these curvy roads going like 65. And so he's going around one curve and way, way too fast, and he hit his brakes way too late, and he goes around this curve and he swerves and he skids. He's going almost right into the curb this way, and he hits the curb, and the impact just brought the car to a dead stop almost immediately. So it was at that moment when we had to face our consequences of what of the choices we made. So we all got out of the car. We looked at the situation. Luckily, it wasn't a house. It was just like a little like park putt area, and he only ran over some bushes. He hit on the passenger side. He almost hit an electrical box that was like this high. That probably would have caused a lot more damage. So we got out of the car. Everybody was okay, thankfully, and we saw that the front passenger tire was like just on the ground. It like broke off from the axle, and we evaluated each other. We were all okay, and then we had to go back to the house on foot because one of the neighbors popped over the fence and was like, "Oh, what's going on?" And we're like, "Oh, we're fine." And then we're gonna call a tow truck, and we bolted back. It was about a mile back to the house where we were staying that we had to get to. So we did that, and that was a thing. After that, we were all like really sobered up from the shock, I guess, at least to an extent where we could like make smarter decisions. So I had to face the consequences of dealing with my parents and what they wanted to do because my mom was in California at the time, and the police showed up because they got my name and number out of a backpack that was in the car, and they called my dad, who had to call my mom to find out where I was staying, house sitting, and then they showed up. Luckily, I got really lucky and didn't really have to face any legal trouble just dealing with my parents. So I grew up a lot from that, and hopefully, the next time you're out drinking, you at least maybe make a plan, or like, you're gonna call a cab or something, just don't drive. And if you are gonna have a lot, at least know that what's gonna happen is gonna lead you to make some probably not smart decisions, and then facing your consequences, just be ready for that if you do make any decisions that are stupid. So yeah, hopefully you guys can take something away from what I did and don't ever do it in your entire life, at least to that extent. Thank you.